reads as thus. Summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do best, and I'm reading from the message version of the Bible. Summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice what you learned from me, what you heard and saw and realized. Do that, and God, who makes everything work together, will work you into his most excellent harmonies. I'm glad in God, verse 2. I'm glad in God, far happier than you would ever guess. Happy that you're again showing such strong concern for me. Not that you ever quit praying and thinking about me, you just had no chance to show it. Verse 11, actually, I don't have a sense of needing anything personally. I've learned by now to be quite content, whatever my circumstances. 12, I'm just as happy with little as with much as with little. I've found the recipe for being happy, whether full or hungry, hands full or hands empty. Verse 13, whatever I have, wherever I am, I can make it through anything in the one who makes me who I am. And one thought today I want to share, contentment is not complacency. Contentment is not complacency. Let us pray. Lord, thank you so much for this word. Thank you for your amazing presence today. I can't think of a better way to experience a first Sunday communion meal. The meal prep, Lord, was amazing as we sang and danced and praised and worshiped and fell out and jumped up. All just because of you. Because we remembered. And we will again remember in a bit as we prepare to take the sacrament, where we will be remembering you. We will be thinking of you, putting your parts and pieces together in us. I pray, Lord, that this word would find fertile soil and accomplish that which you intended when sending it our way. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. When thinking about this theme, when thinking about this theme of building wealth one experience at a time, I looked to the Apostle Paul, who had this conversation around the key in his mind to having a life filled with wealth was that we find a place of contentment. So that word contentment bothered me a little bit because as I was preparing the sermon, I was thinking about some of the things going on in the world. I thought about Australia and the fact that now the brush fire has grown to the size of Manhattan. Can you get that picture? The size of Manhattan. One town alone, 1,300 homes burnt to the ground. Animals dying by the thousands. And for those who live, where will they eat? Because their grazing areas are now destroyed. I thought about the news I heard around the number of Black girls and women in 2019 who are missing. 613. Anybody see any news about them? No. Any Amber alerts going out? God knows my name, but do we know theirs? I thought about what happened in Michigan 48 hours ago or so. 300,000 chickens burned up in a barn. 300,000 chickens. So somebody might say, well, why are you tripping about chickens? It's just chickens because they're part of my DNA.
Yes.
I thought about the family. Some of you all may remember Steve Irwin. He was like the guy that would always have all the exotic animals and all of that kind of stuff. And he and his family had established a hospital in Australia for animals that would be wounded or hurt. 90,000. Are y'all hearing me?
Yes.
I thought about the fact that our president killed a national leader of another country while he was traveling outside of his country and killed the number two person assassinated, sorry,
That's right.
the number two person in Iran while he was in Iraq. And I thought about the families and the language that was used when there were families caught off guard because now their loved ones have to be deployed
Yes.
to Iraq
Yes.
because he done bombed somebody. And I thought about the picture that I saw of seeing the head of China and the head of Russia and the head of Iran standing together and now holding naval exercises together as we speak.
Yes. Help us.
All of whom have nuclear weapons.
Yes.
And I thought about our country and the hungry, and I thought about my beloved Charlotte and the fact that if you are born poor in Charlotte, because we are 50th out of 50 states in upward mobility, that you will die poor, most likely, because there's not a path for you out of poverty. And this is at the same time that record numbers of wealth is being built by this. I thought about our educational system that is failing all of our children, particularly black and brown kids, and is failing them in a way that it is nearly guaranteed to lead them to lives filled with poverty, prison, or death. Because they will not even be able to work a register at McDonald's.
That's right.
Which is now electronic. And if I don't understand just the basics of how to work a computer, I can't even get to McDonald's.
All right.
And then the Lord tells me to be content. I thought about our church, the varied things and needs that exist. And I thought about those who are here, and I thought about those who need to be and aren't for varied reasons. And my heart went out because in many of those instances, they are like some of us were, and that is, for whatever reason, it is hard to find home in the church. And I'm supposed to be content. I thought about my Methodist sisters and brothers. Whose church has literally been torn apart. Because one group dared to say,
Mm.
God didn't make a mistake when creating me.
All right. That's true. Yeah. Mm.
And because somebody dared to accept me,
Mm-hmm.
be willing to bless me and relationships like the now this year 21-year relationship with my wonderful wife Wendell, that literally millions of the same family will now be divided. And I'm supposed to be content. Paul, really? Paul, could you have imagined a world like this? Could you have imagined a time of such divisiveness among families? Thanksgiving held, and people can't even talk about certain subjects for fear. The whole thing will blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to eat turkey, but we ain't going to talk about religion. We're going to eat some collard greens, but we can't talk about who your friend. And if you come, you can't bring him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got to bring him, stay away.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I'm supposed to be content. Help me, Paul.
Mm.
Understand what you are asking.
Mm-hmm.
The world is a mess. And the Lord said, but Tonya, I wasn't finished. I had another part of this that I needed to share with you. And yes, I wanted you to let them know on watch night about the need to be content no matter what state we find ourselves. But baby, contentment was not meant to be complacency. That as believers, what I gave you and what I said to Paul was, as he is sitting imprisoned having this conversation, in jail, bound, and saying, I thank you for the money you sent me, but I really was all right. I'm good. I have no earthly needs. The Lord has provided for me.
Mm.
But I didn't just get here overnight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Paul said twice, you can read it, I had to learn. He says it, I had to learn how not to worry. I had to learn that what I had was more than enough. I had to grow in my understanding of what it really meant. Times like these, to be one God, beloved children. Whatever I have, wherever I am, I can make it through anything, Paul said, in the one who makes me who I am. There's another piece, y'all, that the Lord gave me, and it's an interesting term. And you know how sometimes the Lord will speak to you and just kind of drop a word in your spirit? And it was a strange word because it was this word standard. And the Lord said, I want you, Tonya, to lift up a standard before me. And I hadn't heard that since my Church of God in Christ days. I want you to lift up a standard. And you kind of know what a thing means, but I want, when God speaks to me, I want to really understand. And so when I looked up the the meaning of this word standard, Reverend Mirage actually spoke it when she opened up her prayer, when she was talking about Jehovah Nissi, the Lord my banner. Now, let me help you understand how the banner functions. So what the banner is, it is a sign to the troops or a sign to the followers that we're getting ready to move against that which has been in our way or that which has been problematic. And it is time to raise the standard. And the word standard, and if you look at the interpretation or translation of it in Hebrew, it means a pole. It is an ensign or a sign. Like if you think about an insignia or something on you, like you're kind of stamped with a thing, right? But it also means a rallying point. It is a rallying point. And so much of what God has been giving us, and it has come through so many of the things shared today, was I need you to be a space and a place, and I want you to be individuals who are called to rally my people. And to not fret about what you see on the left or on the right, or not fear what you perceive to be not enough to do what I have asked you to do. I need you to walk boldly and know that you are more than enough and that I made you for such a time as this. And as such, your lack of complacency will yield wealth. That as you are willing to do the work that is needed. Now let me say this. There are those who felt like Paul couldn't possibly be doing anything because he was in prison. And nothing could have been further from the truth. But while he was in prison, guess what he was doing? He was content. Oh, but he wasn't complacent. He wasn't just hanging back. He was writing letters like this one to the church in Philippi. He was talking to the folks in Rome and letting them know what kind of things they needed to do to hold on in the midst of trouble. Dealing with Corinth and the challenges they were experiencing. He was anything but complacent. But guess what the biggest thing is that Paul did? He prayed. Yes. Paul said, y'all don't understand. I'm thinking of you and I'm praying for you continually. Prayer for Paul was an action word. I'm at the battlefield with you. I am holding up a standard. The old saints used to say, I'm holding up the bloodstained banner. So that as you see not just the banner, but you see the blood. What you can know is that I've got you. Contentment is not complacency. I want to close with something here. But this word content, in Hebrew, it's translated into self-sufficient. That seems strange when thinking about a passage that's encouraging us to trust God. But if you read more closely, you will understand what he's saying. What he's saying is, because he is who he is, I am sufficient in all the things that I must do. So because God lives, then all things are possible and I don't need more. Because everything I need, I already have in him. Isaiah 26:6 says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day or night. These watchmen. If they make mention of the Lord and keep not silence and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. The Lord hath sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength. Surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thine enemies. Which means people that you think been taking stuff from you, hurting your reputation, all this, the Lord's like, that's all a wrap. That's all over now. No more will people be taking stuff from you. The sons and the stranger shall not drink thy wine, for the which thou hast labored. But they that have gathered it shall eat it. Praise the Lord, they that have brought it together shall drink it in the courts of my holiness. So go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people, cast up, holding up that banner. Cast up the highway, gather out the stones, till lift up a standard for the people. I want to say, church, that this is the time to go for it. That what God is basically saying to us is, I have moved everything out of the way. I have protected what you got from the hand of the devourer, so that what I give you will be on top of what you got, because this is the season for you to now build your wealth. And you must build it being content at every step along the way. It's the time for you to turn up, and this is the time for you to push out, and this is the time for you to go for the thing you felt once impossible to achieve. Because I got you. Because see, it's one thing if I keep building and I'm putting bricks together. Some of us know that you've been working hard and you've been building, and it seems like every time you put something down, somebody punches a hole in it. And every time you take 2 steps forward, it feels like you fall 3 steps back. The Lord says, I'm changing it. I'm changing it. I'm changing it. You need to hear me. I want you to get content. I want you to be okay being self-sufficient in me. And know that I got you. That I got angels on the watchtower, so that it can see afar when danger's coming. I got angels on the watchtower, so that when the devourer's hand comes to try to set you up, I've got you. Angels on the watchtower, sitting about the wall, waiting for you. There's only one question that I want to close with, and that is, are you ready? People say a lot of things about what they want. But what they often say little of is what they're willing to do for it. Yes. So if you just read the first part of the passage that says, I want you to be content in all things, no matter what state you are, be content. But then if I'm content like that, I can't be concerned about the missing black girls, because I'm okay. And they're not my family members. If I just stop at be content, then I'm not going to care about the children that don't get a good education. My kids going to private school because I got some extra money now because I done built some wealth. And that wealth I built, I can now send my child to a good school. I pulled them out of that old messy public school. But what I got to understand is that public school is my concern. Yes. Or should be. And if we can begin as a community to live like what we just saw during announcements. I know somewhere where we can get some medicine. I know somebody that can help you pay your bills, your heating bill, and if you need some help with your children, I know a place that we can. What would that look like if all of us did that? by ourselves. Then I'm going to knit some caps for infants. Everybody can do it. So guess what we're going to be doing as a house? We're going to flip this script.
All right.
When I tell you the things that are going to come out of this little space, it's going to be a marvel to the world.
Yes.
Because we will hold up the standard.
Yes.
And we will walk understanding that the God we serve has already given us more than enough. And we will walk not complaining and fussing and dividing because the God we serve has called us to be one. As we are one, we will come according to God's word, touching and agreeing, understanding that as we do that, God is faithful to answer. We will not be complacent in our minds, our bodies, or our spirit. We will own the fact that within us, something beautiful is alive, waiting to come forth. And all you got to do is push. Contentment is not complacency. I want to ask the staff to come forward as we prepare the table.